He is Nottingham, and he belonged to the Johnson and Wales equestrian team for many years. And a gentleman rescued him from there because they thought he was needing to be retired. And so he lived with this gentleman in Bridgewater for a few years. And he thought that Nottingham would like to get back to work, that he was a little bored just being still. So he offered him to a local agricultural school. So he was there for several years and served his purpose to the highest. But unfortunately, because of the hard work there, and the everyday use for several hours, and his age, he's about 30. They estimate he's about 30. So it was indeed time for him to be retired. So they weren't quite sure what they were going to do with him. They couldn't find a spot for him. So a few of the students advocated that he be sent to a rescue, opposed to another working place, because he was quite lame after being used every day, all day. So a few of the students reached out to me and asked if I could give Nottingham a home. He likes to be called Naughty, but Nottingham is his formal name. So he's been here for, I'm trying to think, I guess the beginning of the summer we took him in. He's an Irish sport horse, but he's quite lovely, and he's just retired. I don't ride. It's not about riding for me, just about taking care. I enjoy just feeding and brushing and being out with them, just communing. So yeah, he lives life on his own time now. Just whatever he wants to do, he gets to do. This is Natalie. I call her Natty. And last July, we went to the Taunton dog shelter, and she had just been found walking the streets of Taunton. And she was blind, very overweight. Her nails were all grown out, and nobody had come to claim her. So we decided to claim her for our own. And in November, we didn't know if she'd been spayed or not. It was really hard to tell because she was so overweight. So in November, she had what they call a pyometra, which is an infected uterus. So it was clear that she had not been spayed. So we brought her into New England Animal Medical Center in Bridgewater, and she had an emergency pyometra surgery, and she did very well with that. But when they tried to intubate her to get the tube down her throat, they realized that she had a mass in her throat. So they were less concerned with that than the pyometra. So they focused on getting her well from the pyometra, which they did. But then what happened is, maybe a month ago, her eyes started to act really strange. They were basically a white color, but they were all inflamed and red and angry. So I brought her to Tufts in Walpole, and the ophthalmologist there said that she felt that her eyes should be removed at that time because she was worried about tumors and so forth behind the eye sockets. So I had explained that I was concerned about the mass in her throat, so they agreed that the day of surgery they would check into the mass, and then also, okay, swallowed some grass, that they would look at the mass, possibly remove the mass, and then go ahead and remove her eyes. They call that enucleation. So they went in and looked at her throat. They went in through the mouth, and they actually felt, because of the location and the look of the mass, they were pretty suspicious that her vocal cords had been cut. And they did biopsy the material, and sure enough, it came back as scar tissue. So the doctors suspect that she was used as a breeding dog. And I didn't realize this, but sometimes breeders do cut the vocal cords so that they don't have to listen to them bark. So after she came home, we did receive the biopsy back on the eyes too, and thankfully they are cancer-free. So now we know at least that she's safe in that regard, and unfortunately it's just sad to think that if she was used for breeding, that they discarded her when they were done with her. They estimate her age to be about 7, so probably she was unable to keep producing puppies, so they just probably let her go. That's what everybody is kind of thinking when we put the pieces of the puzzle together, because why would you find a black lab walking in the city streets with nobody coming to claim you? So unfortunately, that's a sad thing. We don't believe that it's bad to, use an animal in a reciprocal way where the caretaker benefits and the animal benefits. But you need to stay committed to your animal, even if they stop producing puppies. The nice thing would have been to just keep her as a companion dog, because she is one of the sweetest, most lovely dogs I've ever met. So that's the story of Natalie.